Well, apparently nothing is working the way I want it to work, and I still haven't fit the fender. I'm working on the attachment of this thing, but before I finalize everything that is how to fit it over here, I have to reattach the missing pieces over here because I need to let the front hood down, and this way I'm gonna be able to adjust the height of the fender, because now I don't have the slightest clue how tall this thing should be, how high I mean, and to do that I had to take a step back. Instead of assembling, I had to disassemble the intercooler. You can see that it's on the ground. I did that because of this bracket over here. Now you can see that the radiators, because they are a package, they are attached to each other and they move like a package. This is the correct position of the radiators, as you can see it over here, but this part was all the way back towards the engine inside of this metal bracket over here, and the radiators were over here in the back, pressing these holes like this towards the frame. The bracket was bent and everything was misaligned. There are some small rubber mounts underneath the radiator, and this was off. I found it on the cover that is beneath the radiator, and on the other side was the same story. So from the heat they were pressed so much inside of the engine bay that it was just a miracle that nothing was broken. Actually, there is a plastic bracket underneath on the both sides, and the intercooler is sliding in and locking into place inside of this thing, but as you can see it is broken over here. The other place that the intercooler is mounting is over here on the top side of the intercooler. There is a plastic tooth that is locking inside of this thing, and the bottom half is locking over here. As you can see, I have drilled a small hole because I think I'm gonna be using some sort of a strap over here to fix it into place, if I can, of course. Otherwise, what you need to do to remove the intercooler, there are two of these brackets, metal brackets in each side. You have to pull them out and get the hoses of the intercooler. There is, I'm gonna try to show you, there is this plastic lock that is on the bottom side, and on the top side there is this hook, plastic hook that goes into the other radiators, and you need to simply press these little pins, plastic pins in the bottom, and take it out. But before you do that, there is this plastic that is mounted on the intercooler that is coming off with the intercooler, and there are two small clips, plastic clips over here underneath this. I think this is another type of radiator. It is for the AC radiator. You can see it going through here, so it is for the AC. This thing, this is for the oil, probably, I don't know. In any case, this plastic thing is attached to this tubing that you see, and that is the way to remove this from the car. I'm happy that the radiators are back into place now, and I can start assembling, because I had to take the top part of the car as well. It is only sitting like a mock-up over here. I didn't want it to take it off the car completely. I just needed to free up some room for the radiators to come upwards, so I can slide them back into place. And as for the radiators, there are these plastic hooks over here on top. They look like this, and they are sliding inside of these holes, and once these are into place, they need to be locked with this thing. There are these pins that go inside of here and kind of fix the top half of the radiators. So I'm gonna finally start assembling everything back together, because I think that everything over here on the bottom side is okay now, and hopefully I'm gonna be able to fit the fender as well. So if that task is successful, I'm gonna be able to mount the lights, and this is gonna be such a relief. The only big part that I will have to fit is the bumper. I'm getting closer. Hopefully this is gonna solve the problem and I will see this car complete again. Finally, I'm getting closer to some resolution. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make a video about some of the stuff that I assembled, and this was because there was no electricity, no power, so it was way too dark for me to make a video about some of the stuff, and I needed to get them done. I'm sorry about that. I don't remember what part I missed, but you can see the front beam is in place. These side pieces are in place, everything is tightened. So even I adjusted the hood, the bonnet, it is closed at the moment, you can see. I tried to fit the fender and it may be okay to be left like it is at the moment, but I'm afraid that this gap over here is a little bit too big, and I will give it one more go to try to close it, because there is this kind of they're misaligning a bit over here. I feel like if the fender gets inwards towards the body of the car, it's gonna be better. I tried honestly, but this was the best that I could, and otherwise I think it looks natural. We'll see at the end, but I need to give it one more go to see if I can get this towards the door a little bit more, so everything is gonna fit nicer. But either way, if it is this way, I'm gonna be happy. I mean, if I can't move it towards the door and this is the position that this thing is gonna be, it is close enough, and I think I'm gonna be able to count this as a win, because there was a kind of hopeless situation when I started. I thought that this is impossible, for me at least, to get it as close as this thing that it is now. Everything looks natural. You can see the plastic cover over here. This is actually mounted in place. Everything is fit. The only thing that I have to install is the horn, because you can see it laying on the ground. I actually forgot where I took this off, and I found some pics. I think I'm gonna be able to mount it back into place. Just wanted to show you that the bonnet is actually in place, locked, and it fits, and it opens easily without any issues. Before it was hard for me to open this thing, would require someone else pressing, pulling in front of the car on the hood while I was pulling the lever to release it, because it was in some awkward position that it was hard for it to pop up. So I'm gonna try one more time to adjust the fender. It is boring procedure, and I won't waste your time making a video about this part. It is simply adjusting here and there, and if I can, I will fix it. If not, I'm gonna leave it as it is. Of course, nothing else I can do. And I'm gonna start with the lights. I'm gonna see if I can fit the lights. Probably this is gonna be all that I can do. The next thing is gonna be to mount the bumper, but I don't have the piece that I need, the plastic part that is in the inner part of the bumper. So probably I'm gonna install the side skirt, but I wanted to make sure that the fender is all done before I start with the side skirt. So hopefully I'm gonna be finished with this as soon as possible, finally. I don't know about the light. I'm still worried how the light is gonna fit over here, if there is gonna be a problem with it, and of course the bumper, if anything is gonna be misaligned or something like that. Well, let's get back to work. I wanted to add one more thing. I used the time, as I mentioned, we didn't have electricity power, so I decided to wait a bit for the power to come back on. Probably there was some maintenance or something, and while I was waiting, I removed this hood over here. For those of you, probably everyone knows that these cars have two batteries, and there is one small battery that is for the braking system and some other stuff, which is located over here. I wanted to show you this because I probably won't have another opportunity. Since the car was sitting a bit, I wanted to check if the voltage of this thing is in the proper boundaries. It is charged still, so I have nothing to worry about, since I plan to start the car as soon as possible. So I just wanted to make sure that everything is okay. So the battery is located over here under the filter for the, this is the cabin filter, and it is mounted like this simply, and there is a screw that goes over here in this nut on this hole obviously, and then there are a few clips that were like this. It's not my fault that the first one is broken. These clips are going in there, so it is pretty straightforward. You can easily disassemble this. So this is the location of the battery. If you need to replace it, there are only 3 10mm nuts. There is nut and 2 bolts over there. You can easily remove them. Be careful with the wires. In my case, the battery is okay, so I'm hoping at least that everything is gonna be fine when I decide to start the car once again. And back to the real job that I have to do.